Hey there, my name's Robbie, and what I'd like to talk about you today is the secrets of great new user onboarding. I'd love to talk about what we're doing with onboarding and how you can build experiences that are going to be really effective with your customers, that they'll love, and that will drive business results. So first up, I'd like to define, what are we talking about? What is a first use experience and what is onboarding? Well, I suggest that the process of onboarding is the process of moving someone who's a brand new user, someone who's just signed up for your product, all the way to a highly engaged power user. It's not just a flip through tutorial or something like that. Onboarding is the process of really taking someone from just signing up for your product to someone that deeply understands and is getting all the value that they can out of the product. Onboarding is this ongoing, kind of process which we often forget. And as part of that, the very beginning of onboarding, and it might be the first few clicks, or it may be the first few screens, or the first couple of days with the product, right at the start there is a first use experience. So who are these first use experiences for? And this is really the beginning idea of a consideration funnel, where the idea is that people that are thinking about buying your product, prospective customers, first you've got to get their attention. They've got to be aware that your product exists. Then you've got to drive interest in that customer. They've got to understand the benefit, what's in it for them. And then they've got to make a decision. They've got to decide to purchase your product. And then finally, they've got to take action. They've got to go and buy it. And this very simple idea is very powerful and has persisted until today because it's largely pretty accurate. AIDA, it's how most things are bought. If you went and purchased an item from a store, or even whether that's online or in the physical world, you were aware of the need for it, you were interested in the benefits of a particular product, you chose to buy it, and then you took action to either click purchase or go into the store and pick it up. That's how most things are bought. But not how software is bought, and not how a lot of digital products are bought. It doesn't apply. What actually happens with most products that we work on is something's a little flipped. It's what I'm calling AIAD. And what this is that you get someone's attention, you build some interest, but then they take action. The whole purpose of most marketing sites, the whole purpose of free trials, the whole purpose of making it easy to get started with consumer products is to drive a customer really quickly to have a product experience. And it's actually the experience of the product that drives them to then make the purchase decision. And the whole point of that is it really flips the funnel. What it means is that people that have signed up for your product haven't decided to use it. All they've really done is expressed interest in the product. It's not that they want to get set up and are ready to use it. They've made a decision to buy. What they're doing is they've said that they're interested in learning more. And that's a really subtle distinction that's extremely important for how you're going to build a great first use experience. You need to be focused on converting people with interest in your product into people that have decided, not in just getting people that have already decided to set up. So the first idea is I want to work from the bottom. What do I mean by does the job that they're hiring it for? That's a strange way to think about this. Well, what I'm referring here is jobs to be done. And the principle is focus on the jobs that the customer wants to do, not the features in your product. This is a really common mistake that product managers make with first use experiences. And the idea of jobs to be done is that your customers are hiring your product to do some kind of a job, right? They don't want a drill bit, they want holes so they can hang a picture or something like that. And if you focus on the job that the product is supposed to do, it makes it very easy to understand how to build the product, how to make it better, and also how to onboard customers to it. So a framework for deciding how to build your onboarding is what I call value-based onboarding. So you start with the job to be done, you look at the features that help the customer do that job, and then you talk about how your product can deliver on that, and that's what your onboarding looks like. And you use the map as an example. So the first step to build great onboarding for our map feature here is to understand the job. And in this case, it's that the customer wants to impress their prospective customers and investors by showing them all the customers that I have. That's the job that the map does. A great map does that. There's two sort of benefits, right? The next piece, after you understand the job, is what are the benefits? How does our product help to do this job? And in this particular case, it's that the map looks really great, and also that it's really easy to share. So you can pop it up at a trade show, you can easily export it to Twitter. And the way that you convince people of this is the point that we start to get to features. So the features that deliver on the value of looks great are the beautiful UI and the live animated updates, and the features that deliver on the map being easy to share are the fact that it's easy to tweet, you can hide sensitive information, and a full screen mode. Now, this list of features and the benefits that tie to them may not have been super obvious if we'd started from the point that, hey, we have a map and this is one more feature of our product. But by understanding the job that the map does and also the benefits to the customer, we're able to anchor the features that we talk through and the way that we onboard our customer and tie it to the benefits. So as a result of this, by going through the onboarding experience and saying, look at this map, it's got a beautiful UI with live animated updates, which makes it look really, really great. It's also super easy to share because we've got this tweet button here, you can hide sensitive information, and there's a full screen mode. That pitch, that flow is going to be very compelling if the job that the customer wants is to impress their prospective customers by explaining how big their user base. By contrast, if we've gone through and said, hey, there's a map, you can zoom in, you can zoom out, it's got lots of pretty colors, that's not going to be particularly compelling because those aren't the features that deliver the benefits that really speak to the job that the customer does. So the first principle was to really focus on the job to be done. Another part of our idea of first use experience is to quickly prove to new users that your product does the job that they're hiring for. What do we mean when we say new users? This brings me to my second principle of great user onboarding, which is to onboard everybody. Now, Box do this really well. Box is a product for file sharing, and there's a number of reasons that you might want to use file sharing. And what you can see here is, as part of their free trial experience, they're asking upfront, what is it that you care about? Is it about syncing files? Is it about advanced security? Or is it about internal and external file sharing? These are clearly different customer segments of Box, and when the free trial user indicates which of these preferences they have, the whole onboarding experience changes as a result of that. So that allows them to deliver on principle number 2, which is to onboard everybody. All right, we're moving nicely. A great first use experience quickly proves to new users that your product does the job that they're hiring for. What does it mean to prove to someone something? Principle number 3 is to show if you can't do. And what do I mean by that? Well, there's a number of ways to prove something to someone. The least compelling on the far side here is to tell. I can tell you, Intercom really helps you to grow your business. A more compelling way than that is to show you. I can demonstrate some action within the product that you see and go, oh yeah, it really does that thing, and I can see how that would grow my business. One way to think about this is the minimum viable aha. What is the core benefit that your product delivers, and what are the ways, even if we can't do it, that we can show and make real and tangible, just more easy to sort of touch, feel, and imagine that the product will do what indeed we promise it is. The final piece I'd like to talk about is, what does it mean to quickly prove to users that your product does what they're hiring it for? Because that isn't immediately obvious either necessarily. And the principle here is to remove all non-essential friction from your first use experience. And obviously this is a little subjective, and so a simple test that I like to use is to ask of every experience that you're giving to new customers, is this quick and easy? And does it help prove that the product does the job that they're hiring it for? If that's not the case, you want to try and remove that. There's 2 things you can do. You can either remove the step or you can simplify the step. And I'll give you an example of each of them. So one idea of removing a step is a Typeform. Typeform is an online survey product. And at one point, what they did is when you went to their website and said start a trial, they'd put you straight into the survey authoring experience. And so it's really common to have the first screen be, hey, name and email and password. And if we apply a little test, does it help prove, and is it quick and simple? It's neither of the two. Passwords, are easy to forget, and also they in no way help you prove that the product's going to work. What Typeform did is they realized that, and so they removed the setup or the sign-in step. And what they did is had you in the product interacting with it. And only when you chose to save your account or save your survey, that's when they asked you to create an account. And at that point, it really seemed to make sense that, oh yes, I do want to save the survey. And of course, I'm going to need to sign up in order to do that. And so by moving that friction later in the process, they were able to have more customers have the an experience of their product, which the whole idea of a free trial is that people have an experience of your product, and that's what convinces them to buy. So Typeform's a really good example here of removing steps. So that's the advice. A great first use experience really quickly proves to new users that your product does the job that they're hiring for. In order to achieve this, there's 4 principles that I'd leave with you. Make sure you focus on the jobs that your customers want to do, not just walk through all the features in your product, and orient the features that you show, if you're going to show them, around the benefits in your product that that are related to the job that the customer wants to do. Make sure you onboard everyone. Really consider the different personas that may be involved, the different personalities that can be involved in the onboarding process, and make sure you tailor to their specific needs. If you have a complex product, really focus on showing, making as tangible as possible, as easy and real as you can, what your product does, if you're not able to actually do that thing for them, because that's always best. And then finally, really work to remove non-essential friction by asking yourself, with each step, is it quick and simple? And does this help to prove to the user that my product does the job that they're hiring it to do? So follow these tips, and I think you'll find that you're able to create really compelling first use experiences. I'd love to hear how you go. I'd love to hear what questions you have. You can check out more of my writing on the Intercom blog, or please tweet at me at Robbie Digi. Thanks so much.